Welcome back to Behavioral Logic, where we explore intelligent behavior in theory, practice, computers, and neuroscience. Today, I want to talk about mental martial arts. What do I mean by that? Well, we must all know that currently we are under attack from all sides by individuals and organizations who want our money, our vote, our loyalty, to injure us for the pleasure it gives them and the rush of power of others. Hey, this is this has been occurring for all of human history. There's nothing special about today. But back then, traveling charlatans and Lotharios can only do so much damage because they are forced to do their misleading in person and then get out of town when the locals start catching on to your grift. But today, mass media, as far back as the start of mail delivery, the printing press, radio, telephone, television, gave these predators tools to expand their frauds using mass communications technologies. This is where the modern industries of advertising, marketing, public relations, and propaganda were born. Chain letters, phone scammers, and late night advertisements for mail enhancement or whatever, get rich quick schemes, these are very effective. Compared to email, websites, and social media platforms, though, they're almost sort of quaint. We are living in the misinformation age, bombarded by toxic information from countless unregulated channels. At least government-run services like postal delivery, they had inspectors and laws against misuse. In the USA, the Federal Communications Commission regulated radio frequency communication. It wasn't perfect, but it was a little something to push back against the tide of scammers waiting for the opportunity to hunt easy prey. Us. Or worse, your children, the elderly, the people that you care about that maybe aren't the brightest bulbs in the socket. Anyhow, I mean, now, we have a communications device wherever we go. And it pushes this astronomical amount of information to us. But we're on our own. There are no agencies to regulate that. There's no, there are no laws to say that, you can't see bad Facebook ads. So we have to learn to defend ourselves against these expert misleaders funded by nations, foreign and domestic, and by organized criminal syndicates. But I repeat myself. But how do we do this? How is the average person who is already struggling under the weight of jobs, bills, and family responsibilities fight back against this horde of well-funded predators? It's actually quite easy. You see, none of these attackers have any power over you that you do not expressly give them. Simply deny them that. You're in the position of power in this relationship. And if you learn to use that power, the vile lies of scammers, cultists, corporations, and governments will be reduced to but a whimpering annoyance. So, behavioral logic, as I said, is about behavior and theory and practice. And I want to really talk about practice right now. Because what is the point of, learning about intelligence, learning how to make an algorithm smart, if we can't also use that power to make ourselves smarter, to give ourselves tools to make better decisions? So let's and what do you do when your body is attacked? Well, you learn to defend yourself. You find weapons and you practice with them and you learn skills to protect yourself against physical assault. And I want to start talking about weapons and skills to protect yourself from mental assault. Because believe me, we need it in a bad, bad way. So, welcome to my dojo. Go ahead, bow, step onto the mat, and let's get started. When I've been to martial arts classes, there's always a beginner's class, an introductory class where you come in, you're like, what's all this about? Is this for me? Show me what you got. And the good ones that I've seen, they give you a rough idea of what the classes are like and hope you have fun. And when you leave, maybe take just a little something useful. And that's what I want to do right here. I don't just want to talk about what I want to talk about. We are going to go over some important stuff. And at the end, not only are you going to have a couple techniques, I'm going to give you homework. I'm going to give you training exercises that if you feel up to it, you should do. If you don't feel up to it, safety first. So, let us start with what are the ways that we are most vulnerable, that we are most susceptible to being tricked, to being fooled. Where are our weak points? If we can figure that out, we can focus on protecting our most vulnerable areas. One place that a lot of people begin to look when they start trying to learn more about critical thinking is this concept of logical fallacies. And what these are is, they'll give them Latin names, argumentum ad absurdum or whatever. I don't know what they are. But it doesn't matter. I mean, when you start using Latin, clearly you've gone off the rails. But we'll stick with the language that I speak. That's what I'm an expert in. So, but what fallacies are, they are kind of interesting. They're sort of a common collection of these techniques that, when used, they are really convincing. You really want to believe the things that they're saying. But none of these techniques have anything to do with the claim being truthful or not. So, and that's useful. Having techniques that are very persuasive to others, if you can use these techniques to help promote your own ideas, even though they have no bearing on whether your ideas are any good, that's a valuable skill to have. So it seems like if we learn about these logical fallacies, that will be a great tool, because we'll be able to spot them and we'll be able to know when people are trying to fool us. Except no, it's actually a terrible idea. Do not waste your time. I'll explain why. So there are two major problems with bothering to learn about logical fallacies as a way to protect yourself from being unduly influenced. And the first one is that these, as I said before, these seductive tricks, they work just as well whether it's true or it's false. In fact, they might even work better if what you're saying is true. If you're trying to convince people of something true and you use one of these logical fallacies, that doesn't mean that what you're saying is false. In fact, they're really common. These are just common rhetorical techniques. So the fact that somebody is using them or not doesn't mean anything. It does not mean that what they're saying is false or what they're saying is true. So then what is the point? That is the entire point of this, is to be able to easily tell the difference between what is factually correct and fiction. And logical fallacies, as interesting as they are, don't help us. Don't help us one bit in that area. Now, I mean, I suppose it's theoretically possible that if you listen to somebody's argument and then you eliminate every single fallacious part of their argument, you could plausibly be left with only the parts that are, actual proof of their claim. Um, but uh, these fallacies are really specific, meaning that all right, let's see. How was I going to put this? So the number of different tricks that can fool people is actually astronomical, maybe even infinite. So if you pointed out a bunch of logical fallacies somebody was making, and they could just come up with a bunch of new ones that you haven't heard of before. Which is why, like, focusing on bad reasoning is kind of like this indefinite game of whack-a-mole that you are never going to be able to win. So, again, it's not constructive. It feels like it is, but do not do it. However, there is, if you take a look at these logical fallacies, what you find is there's really only two types. The type that try to confuse you, and the type that try to be seductive, try to make you wish they were true or false. So let's start with the type that tries to confuse you. There are so many ways to confuse you. Going through specific ways to confuse people is a waste of time. But confusing, you can recognize when you're being confused, right? Because and here's the thing, you don't, just because you could learn certain tricks to confuse you and spot them, but you know what's hard? What's actually hard? Clear communication. The ability to express a complex idea to another person and have them understand you perfectly, that is a rare occurrence. But it's one that we should always strive for in our communications, in my opinion, even if it does take a lot of effort. But you know what's really easy? Making up a bunch of bull. And by bull, I don't mean, you might think that using the term bull is a euphemism for, let's say, a more offensive term. It is not. The use of the word bull predates any of its scatological modifiers. It was originally meant, so a bull is a stamp, is a seal on an official document. We still see this sometimes today in papal bulls, which are official statements. And let me tell you, it was hundreds of years ago, we have records of people using the term bull, which was supposed to mean, oh, a really impressive document, to mean nonsense. And it still works today, so I am going to keep using it. Now, making up bull is easy. I mean, maybe I'm doing it right now. We could all do it. We all have the gift of bull when we need it. And it is very effective for persuasion. If you throw as much gobbledygook at someone as possible, you can easily overwhelm their little monkey brains, because making up nonsense is easy, but making sense of it is actually inherently impossible. So you can, if you just baffle them with bull, you can knock the person you're supposed to be clearly communicating with completely off balance and get them to start to question their own mind. And nobody wants to look dumb. I mean, you want them thinking, what if this person making the claim is correct, but I'm just not smart enough to understand? That really is the main goal of just showering somebody with nonsense, and why it works so well. But you need to remember that there is a simple defense against this. The burden of proof always lies on the person making the claim. If they cannot state their claim and reasoning in a way that makes sense to you, well, that's a they problem. That's 100% on them. You are under no obligation to accept anything that unless you're completely okay with it. So, let's practice a little. Somebody is bullying you. Simply say, that doesn't make sense. See, isn't that nice? Or even better, if you're feeling salty, just say, I disagree with that. It's very simple. And you know what? Don't even argue. You don't have to retort. They're saying something to you, you're not convinced, say you're not convinced. Now, I know one reason people don't do that is that we have been taught that that is impolite. You don't disagree with people. That's rude. This is bad. We have to stop teaching our kids to not disagree with people because it's impolite. I mean, this is just a huge reason why people are just so gullible, so credulous. They're trying to be nice. And being nice to the person assaulting your mind is exactly what they want you to do. But remember, you don't owe them any consideration. You've probably given them too much already, so just move on. Just say, I'm not convinced, and then move on. Yeah, this politeness bothers me. I mean, and we hear it from authority so much, parents, teachers, religious leaders, because they want you to just shut up and obey their commands without questioning. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I used to be a science teacher, and believe me, I understand why they would do this. I mean, you're just trying to get through the lesson. You got 30 kids who are bouncing off the walls, and some want to learn, and you're just trying to get the information out as quickly and painlessly as possible without extra conflict. And I think I just had a flashback. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not a teacher anymore. So yeah, it can come from a good place. A parent who wants to protect you, a teacher who is just trying to do a lesson. Please just shut up and listen, for God's sake. These folks aren't necessarily your enemy, but even if it is coming from a place of love, a place of concern, a good place, encouraging others to not disagree with anyone because it's rude, you're doing them an extreme disservice. And it might make your household, classroom, church group more peaceful at the moment, but this is at the long-term cost of priming those that trust you into being more credulous and susceptible to those that are pretending to be authorities that may not have their best interests at heart, and will take advantage of them. So by doing this, yeah, it fixes a short-term problem, but you're sort of helping train these placid livestock that to be easy pickings by predators. So if you really care about them, start encouraging disagreement. Okay, it's not going to be easy. That's it. That definitely will be difficult. And as a failed teacher, I can tell you that it is. But I think if you have patience and strict rules of discussion, you can't just have chaos. You want to find sort of the best practices to allow disagreement in a structured manner. What is the way that you should disagree? What is the timing? When should you stop and come back to it? I don't know what any of those are, but I'm assuming there must be something. So if you can do that, if you can sort of create as a teacher, as a parent, as an authority, if you can create an environment where disagreement is allowed and is encouraged and is used to positive ends, oh, I lost my place. um, yeah, right. Uh, Here, come here, kitty. Get your fuzzy butt out of that camera. All right. Now I've lost my train of thought. Let me just pick up in this. This is what happens when you have a script and you're making stuff up at the same time. So if you have done this and you actually know what you're talking about, it'll quickly make those you have authority over more confident, more responsible, and more knowledgeable. Now, if you don't know what you're talking about, if you're a fraud that is just scrambling to keep from being exposed, that next, okay, yes, confusion. I was talking about confusion. Let me give you an example. So this is a riddle. Let me bring it up. It is a. Oh, I don't have it up. Well, that just figures. I'll bring it up. It is called the Missing Dollar Riddle. And there we go. Just go to Wikipedia. It's really quite a good source. So this is a riddle that is written deliberately to confuse you. Now, it's not meant to take advantage of you. It's meant for entertainment purposes. Like the same way as if you saw a stage magic show. They're fooling you all the time. And it's fun. It's fun to be fooled. But riddles and magicians typically, they don't tell you that what they're doing is actual magic, or they're not trying to rip you off. They're just trying to have some fun. So, let's have some fun. Here is how the riddle goes. 3 guests check into a hotel room. The manager says the bill is $30, so each guest pays $10. Makes sense. Later, the manager realizes that the bill should only have been $25. To rectify this, he gives the bellhop $5 as 5 $1 bills to return to the guests. On the way to the guests' room to refund the money, the bellhop realizes that he cannot equally divide the 5 $1 bills among the 3 guests. As the guests are not aware of the total of the revised bill, the bellhop decides to just give each guest $1 back and keep $2 as a tip for himself, and proceeds to do so. As each guest got $1 back, and each guest only paid $9, bringing the total paid to $27. The bellhop kept 2, which when added to 27 comes to 29. So if the guests originally handed over 30, what happened to the remaining dollar? Now, I admit, I'm still a bit baffled by this. Um, I don't, I know in theory, the way they're stating the math doesn't make any sense. Like, there's literally no reason to believe that what the guests paid and what the bellhop kept should total $30, but the way it's worded, the way it's presented, it just seems like it should. And every time I read it, I'm still fooled. I'm still confused again. And I think that is a trick we should all learn to do. We all need to remember that as clever as we think we are, we can all be fooled. We can all be confused. We can all misunderstand everything. I mean, look, we don't understand most of everything that goes on around us anyway, and that's fine. Admitting that you don't understand something yet, it's a sign of honesty. It's a sign of intellectual awareness. It's a sign of confidence, especially self-confidence. To admit that you don't understand means that others could, make fun of you. They could say you're stupid. And I see this a lot. Finance bros are all claiming that we peasants aren't smart enough to understand their complicated financial instruments, which are all bull, of course. But to say that their claims are indistinguishable from nonsense, to you have to have the confidence to not care what those scumbags think about you. So the riddle, the missing dollar riddle, what actually is the answer? Here is my answer, and I do guarantee that it is 100% correct, or your money back. When I am asked where did the remaining dollar go, I would say, I don't know. I don't know. Those words might be the most honest, the most intelligent words ever spoken and ever will be spoken. I recommend you practice using them and practice not caring what anybody thinks about you when you use them. It does take a lot of willpower and repeated exercise to get comfortable with it. Short-sighted authorities that told us to be polite, they keep giving. They also ingrained that we should never, ever admit when we don't understand. So I get that not everyone will be able to get into this habit quickly and easily, but I really want to encourage everyone this. No matter what you do or say, when you aren't 100% certain that you understand something, don't give anybody any money. Oh my gosh. Always make sure you 100% understand before you give anybody anything, because you're getting ripped off. So okay. So let's wrap it up. Here is the short version. If you are confused, then either the person communicating with you is doing a bad job, or they're deliberately trying to take advantage of you. Either way, you aren't the dumb one in that situation. Okay, I want to go back a little. I just found something when I was preparing for this. Oh, here we go. Have you ever seen The Lovely Bones? It's a Peter Jackson movie about a girl that gets murdered. It's pretty lovely, and Stanley Tucci is, of course, the child murdering creep. And he, I don't know, do I have... Oh. Oh, here we go. This should work. There's a scene when he's about to kill Charisse Ronan, and that I always think about being polite.
I have to go.
No, be polite.
Be polite.
You have to be polite.
You have to be polite.
Be polite.
Be polite.
That's another rule.
Yeah, that's what I think about being polite. You're a creep. All right. Let's get to the other thing. So I talked about how people will confuse you in order to trick you. And that's really good. But the other really good way is to make you want to believe them. So we, as intelligent human beings, we want things. We want love. We want money. We want safety. Those are probably the big ones. And it's very common for scammers to lure in their marks with the promise of these things. Get rich quick is one of the biggest scam baits out there. Bitcoin, multi-level marketing pyramid schemes, Nigerian prince emails, and other types of financial fraud are just as common as ever. But you know what? Promises of love are also very, very common. I mean, right now, romance scams are just bleeding the baby boomers dry. Um, so, as an example of this, in 2000, I was working in a molecular biology lab, and one morning, I got in and opened my email, and I saw a bunch of the same copies of stuff with a lot of carbon copy addresses. And it was clearly some kind of spam. I just assumed it was a chain email that everyone just forwarded to everyone in their inbox. So I just kind of ignored it and started with my workday. But soon, a coworker came in a panic and warned me don't even look at them, don't touch those emails. And it was this virus that was causing a campus-wide IT emergency. So that got me curious, and I went to take another little look at it. Here we go. The subject of this email was "I love you." It was in all caps, and there was an attachment named "Love Letter for You." .text.vbs. Now, I know that's not a text file, but I'm a programmer. I mean, I don't expect everybody to know this, but that VBS is a VB script file, Visual Basic Script file, that if you click on it, it will execute. And what will it do? Well, who knows? What this did when it executed was first go into your email address book, make a copy of itself, and send a copy to every single person in your email address book. After that, it'd have a little fun deleting your files and stuff like that. It's called, sometimes referred to as the love bug. This was one of the most devastating computer worms in history. It caused billions of dollars in damage and removal costs. But I doubt it would have spread nearly as well and nearly as wide if it were named something else. I mean, sometimes our desire for something is so strong that it just makes us react impulsively without remembering to think about what we're doing first, or even looking a little more closely at the opportunity with very much scrutiny. Similar, these were very popular back then. Similar ones were common for a while. But then what they would do is instead of saying it was a love letter, they leaned into this panic and claimed that, oh, you have to run this attached file. It's a virus removal program. You know, you got to run it immediately. Otherwise, terrible things are going to happen. So, I mean, not only is safety something we really want, we don't want terrible things to happen. But what's nice about this, any kind of fear-based misinformation is that when you're afraid, you have a time limit. There's a sense of urgency. You don't have time to sit back and relax and think about it and talk to people. You have to act now. Supplies are limited. And so it's sort of an automatic way to kind of turn off our higher brain functions. I watched The Wolf of Wall Street again last week. What a lovely view of debauchery, and in it, Jordan Belfort character says, "Create a sense of urgency." And if the Wolf of Wall Street says that's a good technique, well, I'm gonna believe him. Let's see what else. Oh, so I was trying to look at. I was trying to go back. We think all of this stuff is sort of new, but I knew that the Nigerian prince email started hundreds of years ago, possibly. Here's the oldest one I could find was that 1906, 1910. 115 years ago. 16. Well, I don't know. And people would write these out manually. This is a picture that somebody scanned in of a manual spam email that you're getting right now. Now let's take a look at it. Oh, from Madrid. Ah, overseas. Dear sir, although I know you only from good references of your honesty, I love the opening. First off, flattery. Flatter the person. That because you want people to like you. You want people to think that you're honest. My sad situation compels me to reveal to you an important affair in which you can procure a modest fortune. Ah, there's the promise of money, saving at the same time that of my darling daughter. And there's the love. Oh, what a well-crafted bait on this hook. You got flattery, you got money, you have the save the princess video game goal. All right, so what is the scam here? Before being imprisoned here, I was established as a banker in Russia, as you will see by the enclosed article about me of many English newspapers which have published my arrest in London. I beseech you to help me obtain a sum of $480,000 I have in America, and to come here to raise the seizure of my baggage, paying to the registrar of the court the expenses of my trial, and recover my portmanteau containing a secret pocket where I have hidden the documents indispensable to recover the said sum. As a reward, I will give you the third part, $160,000. I cannot receive your answer in the prison, but you must send a cablegram to a person of my confidence who will deliver it to me. Awaiting your cable to instruct you in all my secret, I am, sir, yours truly, Demidov. First of all, I'll answer by cable, not by letter, as follows. So yeah, pretty nice. And this is what they call the advanced fee scam, or the 419 scam. And now it's just the Nigerian prince scam, whereas they get you on the hook. They say that, oh, you could make a ton of money so easy. You just have to send us a little money so that we can give you more money. But, then when that happens, when you get you send a little money, you're like, oh, what a little hurt. Maybe might as well take a chance, But then they're like, oh my gosh, you know what? Some other crazy thing happened and we're not able to do it. We just need a little more money. And then something else happens and they just need a little more money. And then you start throwing good money after bad. Then it's like, well, now you have so much invested, you can't stop because you'll have lost the money, and there's that huge sum right there ready for you. It really is timeless, and it still just works. It absolutely works as well today as it did in 1910 or before. So those are the two basic ways that people try to fool us. They confuse us, or they make us really, really desire what they have. But how do we avoid being taken advantage of them? I mean, it's not nearly enough. Here I'm just going to talk about it and mention once, and whoop, problem solved. I'll never fall for that again. No, we have to practice and practice and practice until spotting them becomes second nature. But how do we practice with scammers? I'm glad that you asked. There's a couple things. I have a few resources here that I go to, and there's probably many more. This is Reddit. This is r scams. And a lot of people say, hey, this happened to me. Is this a scam? It always is. And you can kind of see sort of what the latest scams are. I like this because if there's anything new coming out and going around, you can sort of keep up on it. And that's always interesting. And they start to... The more and more you go through this, you could start spotting scams a mile away. They all have... The details are different, but how they work is very, very similar. And though, again, it's almost always, can you please help my parent. They think they're talking to Keanu Reeves. Um, if it is a little depressing because people are talking about, their parents. They're lonely. They're they're losing all of their money, and they don't know what to do, and it's a little bummer. So if you want something a little more exciting, there are scam baiters on YouTube, and where they deliberately engage with these scammers. And this guy Kit Boga is probably one of the most popular, and he's just such a jerk to the scammers. He does. Kitty, your furry head is in my way. Come here. Do you not like me ignoring you? That's fine. Um, but yeah, he's really funny, and he definitely torments the scammers, and so it's a little more it's a little more jovial. It's a little less, soul crushingly depressing. So I do recommend that. I do also I like going back and just myself looking in history how all these old scammers are. Like when I found that Spanish banker email. Just remember that it's universal. You could be fooled. People 1,000 years ago could be fooled. And it doesn't make you dumb, doesn't make you a bad person, but it should. We need to always be paying attention to these scams. There's so many out there that it's easy to come across them. Now, there is a place. These are some nice places to go and look at scams and become familiar with them and kind of analyze them. But you have an even better place to find scams. Ones that are directed right at you. It is your spam folder. Ta-da! I normally, I just the spam filters kind of take care of it, and I don't even go in and check. But you know what? I'm gonna do that now, and let's see what's there. Yeah, and be careful. This is a wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious. So, what do we got? Oh yeah, I've been looking for a job lately, so these are just recruiters reaching out. Spam filter isn't 100% accurate. Greetings to you, Annabelle E. Mares. I wonder what this is. I know you will be surprised reading from me today, but consider this a divine intervention. My name is Mrs. Annabelle E. Mares, a widow from the United States battling cancer. Wow, that is a lot. Divine intervention. A widow battling cancer. Oh, my poor heart. I came across your email in my search for someone that can assist and use my money for charity. You see, she's not asking for money. She's asking to give you money. Helping the poor and needy because my days are numbered according to the doctors. I desire to entrust USD 28 million USD 28 million United States dollars in your care. It is my last wish to use this money for charity. Hence, I seek a person who shares the same views to actualize this because my health no longer permits me. Please reply for further details about this charity project. Remain blessed, Annabelle E. Maris. Wow. That is, getting a good one right out of the gate. Interesting. So one thing that they say is that they do deliberately make some dumb mistakes. And originally you might think, well, maybe this person, everybody makes typos and whatever. But they say that they try to deliberately make typographical errors and misspellings and things because that sort of filters out people who are being more aware of it. People who are really critically thinking, they're like, that doesn't seem right. But if you could pass by all of these obvious glaring mistakes and the person still replies, you've got a good mark there. So this USD 28 million United States dollars. All right, that kind of pops out to me. So just a real quick thing. Don't just look at the text is interesting, and I think it's going to really help us sort of learn and get used to what these look like. But take a look at the email address, especially after the @. This is at c.plala.or.jp. What the heck kind of email is that? That is a scammer email if I ever saw one. All right. Looks like I have some newsletters that I signed up for. Is this real? Oh, right, they got me. Payment failed, cloud storage suspended. I hope that this isn't something real. Action required. Your payment method was declined. Update your billing information. I mean, this could definitely happen. You get a new credit card in the mail. It's got a new expiration date. Uh-oh. I need to go do this. But what is it? What's it for? What company is this? Doesn't really say. Oh, of course. The company is q3hzq.mail.store.ass0023.calvano.biz. Oh my god, it's still going on. Yep. This message was sent from a trusted sender. Yeah, sure it was. Yeah, but you can see that's a lot of these come through. I've heard that there are people that make a lot of money. You just send invoices to companies. You make them look really boring. Don't make them too expensive. Just send out invoices. And then the company gets these invoices and they don't really question it. It's not a lot of money. All right, pay it. Send it back. Sort of, this is kind of something I hadn't talked about. I guess I would it's sort of a stealth scam. It's kind of a camouflage scam. You make it look just like the kind of things that you're normally spending money on and doing, and hope nobody notices that it looks fishy. I don't know what this is. Sports. Be kind to yourself. Website rates. Blah blah blah. Ooh, this looks promising. Mr. David Freeman sent me an email with the subject urgent response. Remember talking Wolf of Wall Street, create a sense of urgency. Well, now he's created it. Oh my gosh, it's an urgent response. I better click on it. Man, Google was not messing around with this one. Yeah, look at these. Look at these email domains. Interesting. All right. What's the scam here? I have tried many times sending your emails today regarding the release of your compensation funds valued at 1.8 billion USD. 1.8 billion. I mean, all right, you had me at the beginning, but if it was like $180, but that's clearly ludicrous. And also the grammar, sending your emails today. That doesn't make sense. So I wonder if this is they're deliberately being ludicrous because they know that, if people are really thinking about it, they're going to be a lot harder to squeeze. Say, and we are ready to register your delivery in UPS or DHL courier service for fast and secure delivery. All you need to do is contact Mr. David Freeman with your personal information where your funds will be delivered immediately. They want your banking information. Please don't do that. Make a reply, yada yada. Oh, look at this. Full name, phone number, address, country, occupation. Attach any government-issued ID. Yeah, that's, oh boy. Do not hand over your banking information, please, people. You don't. No good will come from that. Oh, here's it. $20.5 million. Seems a little stingy. I mean, the last one was offering $1.8 billion. Now they just like $20.5 million. It's not even worth my time. And yep, here we got this again. Please reconfirm the details. And give us your banking information. Yikes. All right. Whoa. Okay. Got my name. We've blocked your account. Your photos and videos will be... Let's see what it is. It is Cloud. Account security and subscription. And again, look at the email address. What? That's not from Cloud. Cloud.com. Cloud Plus. Update payment and secure my data. Yeah, you do not want... Don't click on that. I'm not even going to click on it. A lot of these will just be like, maybe even look legit. But you click on it, it takes you to something that looks like a payment page. And then they have your payment information. Oh no. Personal request for charitable assistance. Of course, it's charity. You're a good person. You want to help people. You're not greedy. Oh boy. You know, these are kind of getting boring. You don't have to do this very often until it's just like, this isn't even fun anymore. It's pretty much the exact same one that I've seen several times already. This is like the same one. Yep, I'm dying. I wish to give my money to charity. Yada yada. I'd never even noticed that one before. Oh, you know what? I did go through some of these. I started this one, Pastor John Ben. Online mobile banking. $10 million? Oh my god. Last one offered me $20.5 million. You guys are just being stingy. Speaking of spam, I just got a spam call on my phone. What is this? IMF office. Congratulations, dear. Wow, this is 50 million. Okay. All right. Well, for 50 million, I would consider it. Yeah, it's the same thing. This is an advance fee scam. Oh, we're going to give you all sorts of money, but you just have to all you have to do is just give us your banking information so that we can deposit your $37 gajillion. Whoa. This is your ATM. Some of these are really creepy. FBI. Oh, here's one from the FBI. It's from Kash Patel. Oh my gosh. I thought he didn't care. Oh my god. More IMF. It's the third IMF one. And of course, what is it? $3 million? I guess that'd buy me a few Lambos, but and here we go. Delivery information. Yeah. So kind of surprised it didn't say love Kash Patel. I thought he cared. Just government people, you're all the same. But yeah, there's a lot of legit stuff from recruiters, just stuff from some newsletters. I should probably go through and just unsubscribe and clean this up a little. Treat as urgent. Attention. FBI criminal justice. Uh-oh, that's scary. Recruiter. Junk mail. Instructions to your credit account. We've blocked your account. That one. Yeah, these are kind of boring. And that's sort of what I want you to do. When you're ready, go in every so often and just read some. Don't click on anything, please. If they're in here, they're not legit. All right, just know that. Don't. If you're not feeling strong, don't do it. If you don't feel like you can resist, don't go in there. But if you can, go in and read them. They start sounding really dumb after a while. I mean, you could start spotting these a mile away. And I think that's how we need to be. Because then not only can we protect ourselves, but we can protect our loved ones from similar kinds of scams. So, you know, so yeah, that is that's your homework. That is your homework. Should you accept it? If you're nervous poking around inside your spam file, maybe go to Reddit, r scams. Maybe take a look at some scam baiters on YouTube and watch those. Those are fun too, and safer because you're not actually touching the toxic material yourself. That might be you might want to wait till you're ready for that. And I think that would do everyone a lot of good. I think everybody should learn to do this and should remember to do it just now and then. And then also, just in case you want to maybe you missed some job opportunities, some things got in there. Dunham Sports. You know what? We're just gonna unsubscribe. They're sending me stuff and I just don't care. So there we go. Now, do I have anything else up here that's fun? No, we looked at everything. So, this is a great start. It really is. But I'm telling you, we only just started scratching the surface. There is just a lot more to think about. There's a lot more to practice when it comes to trying to make better decisions that benefit ourselves and not somebody else at our expense. In this introduction, I wanted to be certain that I left you with a few simple techniques that can start serving you immediately. I can't read. Your kitty butt is in my way. And easy to use. So remember, take the time to think and be extra certain before you make any decision that can't easily be taken back. If you're confused, if you're scared, if you're being put under unnecessary time pressure, or if you are promised love, money, or safety. And this is just the beginning of the training, of training your mind to be as strong as possible. And hopefully now you're a little wiser. No, you can't escape. You wanted to be up here. No, come here. Come here. I got you now. There we go. And hopefully you're wiser to some common tricks that are being used against you. And even have a little training. Gave you a little homework to do at home. Delving into the cesspool of your spam folder. But we really haven't even started thinking about what I believe is the most important skill that you can possess against those that wish to fool you for their own benefit. And that is a simple, repeatable process that can accurately separate fact from fiction. Next time, I cannot read when you're there, Kitty. There you go. Nope, you can. All right. There you go. Next time, I'm going to begin to go over the major different types of information and simple techniques to judge their accuracy. So until then, remember to care for yourself and make good decisions.